Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Breakdown on TimesRecordNews.com. Andy Newberry here with Jonathan Hull, and we're not much different than we were a week ago. We saw kind of the test is that third preseason game when they throw the starters, but Romo couldn't even get through a possession, and so now it looks like Dak Prescott time. We were worried about slowing the roll on him, and now it's fast forward. You got to be ready.
Yeah.
How did that hit you? I know we were out at the Hershey game when that was blowing up on Twitter, and your text messages are blowing up.
My text messages are blowing up. Of course, I'm getting the fan side, and I'm getting fans saying, well, Romo's done. People are telling me Romo's done on my texts. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm watching a high school football game right now. And then, it kind of starts matriculating to Twitter. It's like, okay, well, it's Dak Prescott time. Of course, I had a lot of friends, Cowboy fans, say, well, I want Dak Prescott over Romo anyway. I mean, it was getting to that point for some of the fans. I think it's the frustration.
Some of it's the newness, too.
Yeah,
like, you've got the new toy.
But it's a frustration of Romo's just hurt all the time. And they're just – he has been. Let's just face it. He's been injury-prone for the better part of the last 4 years. And
yeah, he had – the one that stood out, I kind of wrote in the column today is, 2014.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid that is going to be, his high water mark.
Yeah,
he played 15 games that year, and he wasn't right for the first one. So really, for the 14 games he was right, he went 12-2.
Yeah.
But I don't know that he'll ever start 14 to 16 games again. Hardly.
No, it's hard to count on him. Just from a fantasy football standpoint, I made Romo undraftable for me.
Then before this had happened.
Yeah, before it happened, I didn't want him. I just thought it was too much of a risk, and that it just kind of came to fruition. It showed that it's too much of a risk. Now, Dak looks great. I mean, let's face it. For as far as a rookie goes, first year, it's preseason, call the offenses or the defensive vanilla, whatever you want to say. He still looks really good. He still looks better than any other rookie quarterback has looked in the preseason so far.
Yeah, and better than any rookie looks most years.
Yeah, and I think you compare it to a Russell Wilson type level that he's kind of playing at as a rookie. I'm not saying they're the same type player, but the situation.
He has the same look to it. The only difference is he doesn't have that Seattle defense.
Right.
Working for him.
That's the one thing.
That's kind of I pointed out. And Russell Wilson, I think, had 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And if you could pencil that in for Dak right now, you'd take that.
Oh, yeah.
And, because I think Romo had kind of reached a level you were going to get 30 touchdowns and 10 picks.
Yeah.
Which is very high level. And I think that's unrealistic that Dak won't play as good as him. He won't convert as many 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 5s as Romo does. I think that's unrealistic. But he'll also get a few with his legs.
Yeah.
And so, I still think the offense is the team's strength, even with 2 rookies in the backfield. I think offense is the exciting part, and they still need to score 28 points.
When you have that kind of offensive line that they have, when you're talking about,
and the best running back depth in the league, probably.
Yeah, you're talking about 3 All-Pros right there on the offensive line as well, and then Leo Collins, who could be an All-Pro at left guard, and Doug Freed's pretty good right tackle. He's better than the average right tackle.
I thought at times last year, and some of it was the defenses scooting up to the line of scrimmage because they didn't respect the pass. Probably a lot of it was that. I thought at times the line was resting on its laurels a little bit. I thought there were games they weren't a dominant unit at all last year that they have to be.
Yeah, but at the same time, Darren McFadden stayed healthy and produced behind that offensive line as well, and he hadn't done that in his career. So that the numbers, there's still great numbers to go with that offensive line or behind that offensive line. As long as that line's there, you're going to have a healthy Dez, hopefully. Knock on wood for the Cowboys on that one. Have a healthy Dez. Receiving core around him, I think, can still.
It all works better if Dez is in there.
Yeah.
Like Terrence Williams is a lot better when Dez is in there, and Cole Beasley's a lot better if Dez is in there.
Terrence Williams is a decent number 2 receiver. You don't mind him so much as a number 2. He caught 10 touchdowns as a number 2 receiver in 2014. And Cole Beasley's a guy.
And he's not the only guy to not pick on Terrence Williams.
No.
Like in Green Bay last year, you saw when Jordy Nelson was gone, Randall Cobb had struggles to get open.
Yeah,
because all of a sudden there's attention on him, and he's not a number 1 guy. And I don't know that Terrence Williams he's not the slot that Randall Cobb. He's a different kind of a receiver. But he struggled with the same thing. All of a sudden the attention was on him. He couldn't get open. And there's a reason why they pay the number 1s.
Yeah, you kind of said 8-8. This is kind of what you were feeling. I'm right there with you. I might even be a little bit below 500 when I think about it.
Yeah, they can't afford anything to get to 8-8. I think that's a pretty rosy outlook because you've already got 3 suspensions. You never know when Sean Lee, who's probably their best defender when he's healthy, you never know when he's ready to play. And so I can't picture the defense carrying you to very many wins.
It's insane to think that the best part of the defense right now might be the secondary, with Orlando Scandrick coming back.
It has been. Yeah.
And, Byron Jones is pretty good. Say he's proven himself to be a pretty reliable player in the back end. But it's strange to think right now the strong point of the Cowboys defense is the secondary.
Jones might be your highest upside player you got on that defense.
Oh, absolutely. And and this is part of it. That's what they get from not drafting.
And it's
the
also
position.
it's hard to draft everything.
It is hard
and
to
then, so that focus, that laser focus they put, we are going to create an offensive line to try to keep Romo healthy, which was a good goal, and they went and built the best offensive line in football. But that's also focus that they didn't put on building a defense. They were hoping to do it on the cheap, and that hasn't really worked.
No, and they're going to pay for it pretty heavily, I think, this year too. But listen, they're going to be in a position to improve down the line still. I mean, you do have a quarterback that maybe you can build around for your future now. Even if Romo does play next year, you still have a quarterback that you can build for your future. Now, that said, I don't know how you feel about it. You didn't really write it in the column. I think Romo should retire. I'm on that boat. I think he should retire. The injuries, to me, his body is saying no more.
Yeah, I hesitate to tell a guy when to call it quits if he thinks he can go through this.
Yeah.
And, I could still see Romo putting together a year, where if he gets healthy for 10, 12 weeks, he's at a better level than Peyton Manning was at a year ago. Unfortunately, he doesn't have that kind of defense to carry him to something. So, I mean, I don't blame him for chasing another moment. He's been a good leader. He's had a good career. He's been an excellent player, if not, maybe not quite Hall of Fame player, but he's been an excellent player for a long time. And so I hate to chase him off. It might be for his good to retire.
Yeah, I don't think he will retire, but I think he should. I think he should just take into consideration, go be a father, go be a husband, and retire. I would think that he's got some money put away in this contract.
I think he loves it. I do too. He loves that camaraderie. He loves trying to lead and make guys better around him.
It's not in his personality to retire. He's going to try to come back for this. The other question down the line, though, Dak Prescott goes out and has that season we talk about, a 26 touchdown or 10 interception season, a strong season of that nature. Do the Cowboys have to make the decision to move on from Romo?
Oh, they might have to. That would be a good problem to have.
Yeah,
that would be a good problem to have.
I mean, that's something they might have to flirt with down the line as well.
That would be a good problem. And I don't think anybody around here, if that did happen, because that's kind of a perfect scenario. So, I mean, the likelihood is that Dak will struggle some.
Yeah.
Despite what we've seen. And you would want Romo back in there. But if something happened that he couldn't come back this year and Dak was established as that guy, I don't think then you deny Romo if there's a Denver or type situation out there, or a Houston or whatever, that feels like they're a playoff team and a veteran might put them over the hump. You give him that chance. I mean, the 49ers gave Joe Montana that chance to go to Kansas City.
The Colts gave Peyton Manning that chance.
Right. So I mean, I think you have to do that if you've got your guy, and you don't have any ill feelings. He's still a Cowboy at heart. We're ways from that, but it's a possibility.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. I think another ally of the Cowboys staying competitive through this season is the NFC East. I don't see any of these teams playing for a Super Bowl.
No.
So, I mean, I think the Giants. I still haven't really decided whether I want Giants or Redskins. I really like the Giant offense, but Kirk Cousins was good last year too. So I mean, I don't think anybody runs away with this and wins 12 games out of this division.
No, I think a 10 win team will win that division, and I kind of think the Redskins will be that team. I like what Kirk Cousins did last year. I really like Jordan Reed as a tight end. He's got a good weapon. The receiving core is underrated. They've got some legit threats out there, and they drafted very well too. And I think Matt Jones, as long as he's healthy, can be good enough at running back to help him too. So defensively, they try to add some things there and be interested. They added Josh Norman into that defense, so they've got some things to look at there. But yeah, I agree though that they could be in the mix down late in the season. We're going to have some relevant Cowboy games to cover, and that's really all you can ask.